Chapter 1 is the first chapter, and this chapter is an introduction to the text. This chapter lays out 10 economic principles that are going to serve as the building blocks for what we will learn throughout the rest of the semester. What you want to do is, before you go through and listen to this, I want you to download the student handouts that are on the Moodle for Chapter 1. You download those and print those out, and you can fill out the skeleton outline as you go through and listen to the material that we're going to cover in this first, or part of this first chapter. Okay, each chapter will begin with some questions that we're going to answer. What kinds of questions does economics address? What are the principles of how people make decisions? What are the principles of how people interact? And what are the principles of how the economy as a whole works? Whether you realize it or not, as a student, you are confronting economic decisions every day in your life. You do this by considering a variety of economic issues, such as changes in prices, buying decisions that you're going to make, how you're going to use your time, how you're splitting your time between studying and extracurricular activities. Those are all things that economics addresses. It's important that you master a lot of the vocabulary, or master the vocabulary that we're going to cover in these lecture note videos. So the vocabulary will be in blue, or important concepts as well. So the first concept with economics is to understand that resources are scarce. And scarcity is defined as the limited nature of society's resources. Not everyone can have absolutely everything that you want in life because you have limited resources. And simplest example of that is you simply do not have all the money in the world to buy everything that you possibly want. So this economics is defined as the study of how society manages these scarce resources. Economists study, we defined economists, what they study is how people decide what to buy, how much to work, save, and spend. And also firms. How do businesses or firms decide how much to produce, how many workers to hire? And then we can also consider the economy as a whole, or the decisions that our government makes to split between national defense, consumer goods, and protecting the environment. There's 4 principles here that we're going to cover. The first principle is that people face trade-offs. So to get something that we like, we have to give up something else that we also like. Going to a movie the night before an exam means that you have less time for studying. Having more money to buy stuff means that you're going to have to work longer hours and you'll have less time for leisure or for fun stuff. Protecting the environment means that resources that could be used to produce consumer goods are given up, or a portion of those are given up. Society faces trade-offs. The more money that we spend on national defense to protect our shores, the less money that's spent on consumer goods. Again, pollution regulations, you want to clean up the environment, but that's going to be at a cost of reducing the incomes of those businesses that are polluting, the workers and customers as well. Efficiency. Efficiency is defined as society gets the most from its scarce resources. Equality is defined as prosperity is distributed uniformly among society's members. The trade-off between efficiency and equality is that in order to achieve greater equality, you could redistribute income from the wealthy to the poor. So in the US, we have a progressive tax system. So you can take a portion of our taxes and set up programs to help poorer people. But this trade-off reduces the incentive to work and produce and shrinks the size of the economic pie. Second principle, the cost of something is what you give up to get it. So we make decisions. You compare the costs with the benefits of the alternatives. You need to include what we call opportunity costs. And an opportunity cost is defined as whatever must be given up to obtain the same item. So the opportunity cost of going to college for a year, it's your tuition, your books, and your fees, but it also must include the foregone wages. So in other words, the time you're spending in college means you're not going to be working. What would the value of your wages be if you chose to go to work instead of going to college? Going to the movies. The opportunity cost is the price of the movie ticket. But you must also consider what's the value of the time that you spend in the theater. What would you be doing if you weren't in that movie theater? Principle 3, rational people think at the margin. Rational people is defined as systematically and purposefully do the best they can to achieve their objectives. So we're rational in our behaviors. We evaluate costs and benefits of marginal changes. So the term or the phrase marginal changes means incremental adjustments to a plan of action. So examples, cell phone users with unlimited minutes. They're going to be prone to making long, frivolous phone calls. A manager considers whether to increase their output. They're going to compare the cost of the needed labor and materials to the extra revenue they're going to get from increasing their output. Incentives. Incentives are defined as something that induces a person to act. Okay, when gas prices go up, consumers are going to buy more hybrid cars and fewer gas-guzzling SUVs. When cigarette taxes go up, teen smoking falls. Okay, I'm putting up here your first active learning, applying the principles that we've discussed so far. So what I want you to do is I want you to read through this scenario here. You can pause the video, read through it, and then take some notes on what you think. Next, here are the answers. Okay, so I'm just going to put these answers up so you can check your work and see how you did. And you can ask in class if there's something that you don't understand. We're going to be spending our class time not going over lecture notes. That's what the purpose of this video, posting this video is going to allow us to spend our class time in more of a discussion and problem-solving mode instead of you taking notes. Okay, so that ends our first video. As you can see, you did not get through all of the lecture notes. So there'll be another video that will be posted, and I'll give you those instructions. Thank you.